Chapter 1 Introduction. Statement of the problem. Many will agree that childhood has a profound effect on our adult lives. It is during that time that our identities as individuals, including our emotional, physical, and psychological selves, are being molded. For years, it has been thought that the parent-child relationship is the most fundamental of all familial subsystems. However, in recent years, the sibling bond has received a great deal of attention as one of the primary relationships of the family unit. It has been suggested that siblings employ one another as hallmarks in the search for intellectual development and personal identity. In addition, the dynamics of the sibling relationship can vary widely, perhaps more than any other type of close familial relationship. Despite the many positive and negative variations, it was not until recent years that the sibling relationship has been included in the context of family violence and abuse. With so much focus on domestic violence and child abuse, it is no surprise that sibling abuse has received little attention for so many years. However, it has been suggested that siblings are the most commonly victimized family members. In the context of family violence, violence within the sibling relationship is the most common form of violence within the family system. Throughout most of history, society ignored violent acts between siblings and often excused them as normal behavior. Most often, society tries to minimize harming behaviors among children with such cliches as kids will be kids, or that is just age-appropriate experimentation, or all siblings fight, or the most famous one, it's just normal sibling rivalry. Fortunately, the need to distinguish between what is normal behavior among siblings and what is actually sibling abuse is finally being questioned in the context of family violence research. Making this distinction can be difficult, primarily because our society is accustomed to the idea that many of these behaviors are a part of normal childhood development. Researchers discussed this conundrum and identified a set of criteria that can be helpful in determining this distinction. He suggests that once the questionable behavior has been identified, then one must decipher if it is age-appropriate. There are certain behaviors children exhibit that are very common for their developmental level. For instance, it is not uncommon for small children to argue or fight over possessions. However, even these seemingly minor incidents can become serious acts of violence if not attended to by a responsible figure. A second criterion is examining the regularity and extent of the behavior. Most age-appropriate acts will not occur frequently or persist over long periods of time. Next, it is essential to determine if there is an aspect of victimization present. Are both parties willing and consenting to the behavior or act that is occurring? Finally, one must assess the purpose of the behavior. Was the intention observation or gratification, purposeful ridicule or retaliation? This set of criteria is extremely helpful when determining the difference between normal and abusive activity among siblings, and has been discussed and/or modified by others who investigate and work with sibling violence issues. Considering the prevalence of violent acts among siblings, such standards are not only helpful but also needed. As indicated by the 1975 National Family Violence Survey, the rate of violent acts among siblings is 800 per 1,000, 34 times that of parent-child abuse acts concluded in their study of 2,143 American families